Hello, great people. I welcome our dear friends to this inspiring episode of Moments with Pastor Funke. You're going to be blessed, trust me. We've titled this one, Names. In this episode, I'd like to briefly encourage us from scriptures in Isaiah 43 verse 1. I'll read from the New Living Translation. But now, O Jacob, listen to the Lord who created you. O Israel, the one who formed you says, do not be afraid, for I have ransomed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Friends, I found an online dictionary that defines a name as a word or set of words by which a person or thing is known, addressed, or referred to. So a name identifies us. People call us by our names. Now, most people bear the names given to them by their parents. Some people even change their birth names and give themselves new names because they don't like the names given to them by their parents. Nothing wrong with that at all. Unfortunately, some people were given names by others who had authority over them, though they had little to do to protest such names. An example of such would be the slaves that had to bear the names of their slave owners. They had little choice in the matter. But there is another more painful category of people who are called unflattering names by others because of their circumstances. Sometimes they even call themselves such bad names. Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan and grandson of the first king of Israel, Saul, did something like that a long time ago. Let's read from 2 Samuel 9, verse number 8. Mephibosheth bowed respectfully and exclaimed, "Who is your servant that you should show such kindness to a dead dog like me?" Let's look at another example from the book of Judges, chapter 6, from verse 14. Then the Lord turned to him and said, "Go with the strength you have and rescue Israel from the Midianites. I am sending you." "But Lord," Gideon replied, "how can I rescue Israel? My clan is the weakest in the whole tribe of Manasseh, and I am the least in my entire family." Here we see Gideon having such a poor self-image of himself. My clan is the weakest, he said, and of all these weak people, I am the least. Wow. Thankfully, God is not influenced by the poor vision we have of ourselves. Thank God much more, because he doesn't use our own self-assessment to determine what he decides to do with our lives. Hear what he says again in verse 1b of Isaiah 43. "Do not be afraid, for I have ransomed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." The King James Version says, "I have called you by your name." See, friends, that's the name by which God calls you that is not dependent on what you've done or how life has dealt with you. No. The one who creates the thing is in the best position to name that thing, because only he knows exactly what he put into it. In that verse 1, God said, "Listen to the Lord who created you, O Israel, the one who formed you." Friends, the only name you and I shall bear are the names God has called us by. God hasn't called us stupid or failure or barren or idiot. He hasn't called you a loser or ugly. He will never call you an alcoholic or a drug addict or a prostitute. Do you know why? Because God didn't make any one of us to be those people. As a matter of fact, let's read from Psalm 139 verse 14 and see what the Bible says. It says, "Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it." Friends, God made you beautifully and fearfully. He made you and named you with a beautiful purpose in mind. You only need to ensure you don't do anything that will make people jest at his great workmanship in your life. Certainly don't call yourself or allow anyone to call you a name that is demeaning or below what God has named you. Never forget, if he says you're victorious, that's exactly what you are. God calls you more than a conqueror, that's who you are. God says you are the head. Believe him and take him at his word. Friends, I hope you've been inspired by these brief words of mine. Until we come your way again next week, by God's grace, do take care of yourself, stay strong, and keep it together. God bless you. I'm Pastor Funke. Bye for now.